God's happy that Christ takes away our sin with his body, but PS says that God's happy with being unhappy. Does being unhappy make you happy? If not, don't promote PS. It's imaginary anyway, so it's not asking much. God opposes himself to pay for sins. Let sins go. Let PS go. God is not satisfied by PS, but by his sacrifice. That is, his forsaking and crushing of Jesus' body. It's a stretch to translate it punishment. It's better to say bruised or at least crushed. Notice that he didn't say pay his death, but his blood, signifying sacrifice. And it's synonymous with giving his life. If you compare all the verses, you see that. And being a ransom is not being a substitute for punishment. Paying a fee, the sacrifice, to release it. When Christ bears sins, he doesn't offer them up to God to judge. Christ should filter from God, seeing our sins, but God overrules and lets Christ offend him, apparently, so that he can do this PS punishment on Christ. No, they say God gets all the unhappy away from himself so that he can be happy. After removing that part of himself, then he can remove the sin. And of course, that PS part of God needs to go. It should be cut off because it's a contradiction. Oh, did they accidentally say that? It's this way that penalty substitution claims that we should cut off penalty substitution. So why would God count sin? He doesn't like it. He forced himself to count sin? No one meant the sin. They're inanimate. So he counts the sin against someone who doesn't mean them, which is wrong of God. But it's okay because Jesus allows it, which is wrong of Jesus, since he shouldn't let them get to God through his headship filter. But since God has Jesus do this sin, then it's okay for him to let sins go through the future filter. And so God opposes himself by facing the sins which he doesn't want to face. But he has to, since he tells himself to do it, and he's going to remove those sins anyway, but he prefers not to remove them till he's counted them offensive to himself. And so you see how ridiculous PS is. But we know rather that God is unhappy with us being in sin, so Christ hides it or covers it on the cross or the grave or leaves it nailed to the cross, however you want to say it. Then God's happy with us and Christ, but we cannot say that he was punishment payment like PS.